Adam Friedman, Rivals.com, here with one of the best players in the 2025 class. We've got Rivals 250 offensive lineman Michael Carroll. Michael, it's been a really busy season for you. You've taken a lot of visits, and a lot of them really have stuck in your mind. Why don't you tell me which ones you've been to so far, really over the last 2 months, I should say?
So I started off going to Rutgers, and then I also have been to Virginia Tech, Michigan State, Wisconsin, and Michigan this season.
Okay, well, all right. So really, other than Virginia Tech, a lot of the Big Ten schools there in the East region there. So let's start with Rutgers. That's the one that's closest to you. You live in the Philadelphia area. So when you were up at Rutgers, what really stood out to you about that environment and that coaching staff, and really the progress Greg Schiano has made with that program?
Yeah, probably just like the progress Greg Schiano has made. I sat down and talked with him. He just told me how good like the program's going and like how they're on an upward trend, and I just saw how hard they fought.
Okay, cool. You mentioned Virginia Tech as well, a visit there. What did you see out of Brent Pry's program and the way that offense is working under Tyler Bowen?
I see them; they're still going up. I mean, it's like a new coaching staff, so they're not fully there yet. But I was talking to Brent Pry. He told me I would play very early if I went there, and he was telling me a lot of good things.
Cool. Is that early playing time kind of a big thing for you in your recruitment?
It is, but I also want to go somewhere where I can get developed like the best I can.
Okay, cool. Where else have you been to? You said Minnesota, Michigan State.
Michigan, Michigan State, Wisconsin.
Oh,
Those.
okay. Gotcha. Well, let's start with Michigan, I guess, since they're in the news a lot right now. First off, does this whole sign stealing thing make any difference to you whatsoever?
No, it actually doesn't because, like, I mean, with a program like Michigan, I just feel like they're so powerful. Nothing really affects them. Seems kind
Mhm.
of.
When you look at that offense, the way they've developed offensive linemen and really kept some draft choices in the program, kept them from leaving, with NIL or just the potential for the team to make more progress in the college football playoff. What do you see out of that whole position group?
Something that I'm really considering because the way they've just produced offensive linemen for the past couple of years, I just think that's probably like the best place to go if you're an offensive lineman trying to get to the next level.
Awesome. Okay, cool. And then you mentioned Michigan State also visiting over there. They've got their own set of problems over there right now with brand new coaching staff probably coming in next year. I mean, what do you think about the things going on at Michigan State?
Yeah, I talked to them about the new coaching staff. They said they're trying to get one right after the season's over. They think they'll have a new coach ready.
Mhm.
But yeah, they're going through some rough times right now. I like the way they treated me, but I don't know.
Okay, yeah. When you were up there, I mean, what were some of the highlights of that trip?
This packed stadium, how like supportive the fans still are, even though they're going through a rough patch, and the way the coaches still like treat you normally. And the offensive line coach, Coach Cap, told me he'll offer me no matter what program he goes to. So you'll
Yeah,
miss
yeah.
me.
Coach Cap is a pretty animated guy, that's for
Yeah.
sure. And then Wisconsin, you said you visited up there. Coach Fickle taking over that program first year, really getting his feet under him there. What do you think about the progress that they've made, and what were some of those highlights of that trip?
I think he's made like great progress. I was talking to him. I mean, he played at Ohio State, and I was there at the Ohio State game, so it was a pretty big game to be at. But he just told me like how they'll develop me at Wisconsin and what a great place it is, and like they have the most Fortune 500 CEOs, and like they develop it's O line U. They say they develop the best offensive lineman.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, I think those are all the visits that you've taken recently here. What do you have coming up?
I will be at Ohio State November 18th, and I've also been talking to Alabama. Alabama invited me to their LSU game. And then FSU wants me to come down there. Same with South Carolina. They really want me to come back down there.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about Ohio State since you've got that visit coming up. Not this coming weekend, next weekend. What game is that? Is that Minnesota? Is that who it is?
We're going to be playing Minnesota.
Minnesota at home. Okay, that's the game before the game.
Yeah.
When you think about Ohio State, what they've done with the offensive line there, and just really your relationship with those guys, what really come to mind?
Their whole thing is like developed here, and I was on the phone with them. They say like they have a whole process that's been working how to get offensive linemen to the NFL, like Paris Johnson and Dwan Jones. So they said just trust them, and they'll handle it all. And yeah, I'll also be going to that Michigan Ohio State game.
Oh, okay. Heading up to the big house for that one, the game. This will be the second time that you visit Michigan this season. What are you going to be looking for during that visit? Compared to your previous visit.
Probably just like student life and like just seeing the big game, like the biggest game in all of college football right now. Seeing the way like Michigan rebounds from like all this sign stealing and all this other drama, and just seeing like the way the team comes together.
Okay, cool. Well, you've mentioned a few other teams that you've been in contact with. You mentioned Alabama, Florida State, South Carolina. I think those were the three that you also mentioned there. What are some of the main things that you like about those programs right now?
How big they are, like FSU, Alabama, FSU, I think they're still undefeated. I'm not sure, maybe not. And then
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to Alabama, they have like some of the best NFL draft picks ever. And then Ohio State, I just can't wait to get up there to see what it's like because my
Hmm.
friends there too.
Okay, cool. You also mentioned South Carolina too. What kind of relationship do you have with those guys?
Like Coach Teasley, I went there this summer and they offered me a camp. I mean, it's been pretty good. They've been staying in contact with me every single week for my games, and I just text with them a lot. They just really want to get me down there, and I want to be down there too.
All right. Well, sounds good, Michael. What else is going on in your recruitment right now? Which coaches do you feel like you've developed the strongest bond with so far?
I would probably say Coach Trout from Penn State and James Franklin, and then Coach Moore and Grant Newsom from Michigan, and Virginia Tech, just like all the coaches down there, as well
Mhm.
as South Carolina.
Okay, cool. Well, we've hit on all of those programs except Penn State, the big in-state school for you. You visited Penn State a few times. I think your dad went there, played
Yeah.
there, I believe, right? When you think about Penn State, your connections there, and just what you see out of the team on the field, what really comes to mind there?
I've been doing phone calls with like Penn State, the staff for a while now, and they just tell me how like I will fit and tell me how I will fit there, which I like a lot. Like they're long conversations, like telling me exactly how the process would work for me. So something to think about.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, Michael, thank you so much for taking a few minutes with us here at rivals.com. We really appreciate it. We're looking forward to see how the rest of this season goes for you, and then certainly the off season. We're going to see a lot of you then too, right?
Yes, definitely.
All right. Thanks again, Michael.
Thank you.